The next generation of Garmin running watches is here, and it's all started with this beauty. Hi everybody, I'm Yair and welcome to my channel. If you're into sport and tech, you came to the right place. In the past few weeks, I'm testing this nice watch in various activities including running, cycling, gym and more. For the full result and discussion, you may click on the chapters down below and skip to the part that interests you the most. We'll start with some specs. The Forerunner 55 is the direct descendant of the Forerunner 45. It is priced at $200 and I believe that by MSRP, that's the cheapest GPS sport watch offered by Garmin. It comes in one of three colors, white, black and aqua blue that you see here. I found it the most interesting one and also it matches my bike color. It weighs about 35 grams and you won't feel it on your wrist. In the past few weeks, it didn't left my hand, it didn't bother me at all. The watch band is industry standard 20mm quick release, so you'll be able to find many alternative watch bands out there. The Forerunner 55 has a 42mm diameter screen and 1.04 inches of display size. The display size is a bit disappointing. You can see the bezels around the screen. I believe that in 2021 we could expect a much larger screen size. The claimed battery life is 14 days of smartwatch mode and up to 20 hours of GPS time. I find those official estimates quite accurate since I've lost about 7% battery during a regular day with 24/7 heart rate reading and sleeping. While running outside, I've lost about 4% per hour by using GPS. If you'll plug in the numbers, you'll get the official battery estimation. So, good job Garmin. The Forerunner 55 isn't armed with many sensors. You don't get a barometric altimeter, so you won't be able to get real-time elevation data, nor a gyroscope, so no gym profile with auto detection for movements here. It does have an optical heart rate sensor that we'll put to the test later in this video and a GPS built in. The smartwatch features include incoming calls and messages that you cannot reply to but can view them or reject the call. Daily step tracker, sleep tracking, weather forecast, calendar meeting sync, live track and distress button as long as you have your phone with you. But you don't consider buying this watch only for these smart features, right? The sport profiles are quite limited and they include outdoor and indoor run, track run, outdoor and indoor bike, pool swimming, walking profile, general cardio profile, elliptical, Pilates, stair stepper and yoga. The main difference in sport profile against the previous model is the inclusion of the pool swimming profile, yoga, Pilates and high intensity interval training. The Forerunner 55 also supports Garmin training plans and you can download your training plan directly from the app. The watch is also fully compatible with Garmin Connect IQ, which is the app store of Garmin, where you can download apps, data fields and watch faces to your watch. I've downloaded the Stride Footpod app and it works flawlessly. Another new feature is the daily suggested workout. Especially if you're a new runner, the watch can take care of your dilemma and offer a certain running workout according to your current training load. Another useful feature is the Pace Pro. By using it, you can set up ahead a course in the app, determine your target finish time, and Garmin will calculate the required pace during the course, including climbs. You can download your Pace Pro strategy to your watch and use it in real time. It is very useful in races and can help you plan your strategy to break your own record. The sleep monitoring is quite accurate and the watch did recognize the time I went to bed. Also, the wake up time and when I woke up in the middle of the night because one of the kids cried. Also, you can see in the graph the deep and light sleep duration and more. If your sleep monitoring is important to you, you'll get an etiquette feature here. The respiration rate is also supported in this watch and you can see a breakdown of that as well. Another physical measurement is the body battery. What it basically do is turning your body into a rechargeable device and providing you an estimation of your energy level and how fatigued or ready for hard training you are. I found this measurement quite accurate and impressive. So if you're feeling tired and consider heading out to a run, you should listen to your watch. It knows you better than what you think. In this section, we will analyze the Forerunner 55 performance in various sport activities, including running, swimming, cycling, and strength training. Okay, so let's look at some indoor cycling data. Here we have the Chorus Pace 2, which is paired with the Polar Verity Sense, the Garmin Forerunner 55, and the Apple Watch Series 5. We'll mainly look at the heart rate data because it's just indoor cycling and most of the data comes from external sensors anyway. In most cases, the Garmin Forerunner 55 matches the Polar Verity Sense. There are some spikes, but as you can see there is only 110 BPM against 108, and those are the main spikes, maybe here a bit. In general, you can see that the Forerunner 55 did a very good job. Here we have a more challenging workout. We have the Polar Verity Sense with the Chorus Pace 2 versus the Garmin Forerunner 55. And as you can see here, there is a large gap. Usually the Forerunner 55 measured much higher heart rate. You can see all those spikes here. When there was a spike with the Polar Verity Sense, the Forerunner 55 discovered this spike only with a delay. So here it didn't do a really great job. Let's look at some data from the pool. We have the Chorus Pace 2, the Polar Verity Sense, and the Forerunner 55. You can see that the Chorus Pace 2 is way off, so let's remove it. I don't think it's a good reference point. And if I remove the Chorus Pace 2, you can see that the Forerunner 55 and the Polar Verity Sense, which was connected to my temple, so it measured, I believe, a more accurate heart rate. Most of the time it was very close. You can't really tell the difference, just those spikes here and there. The average is the same and the maximum is almost the same. And if we look at the distance, by the way, you can see that the Garmin measured 1.5 kilometers, the Polar Verity Sense 1.32, and I believe that this is the actual number. So we did add more pulls to the test. Let's look at some running data. We have the Apple Watch Series 5 and the Stride FootPod. I think that Stride is the best tool to measure distance, and the Forerunner 55 wasn't far behind. The Chorus Pace 2 was connected to the HRM Dual, by the way. So let's start by comparing the GPS data. We have the Chorus Pace 2 in red, the Garmin Forerunner 55 in blue, and the Apple Watch with the Stride FootPod in orange. So as you can see, most of them are quite in line. The Forerunner 55, you can see here it's a bit wandering around. If you look at the data, the Garmin Forerunner 55 it looks a little bit more like I'm running in the middle of the road and not inside the backyard of houses like the Chorus Pace 2. So I think it did a better job than the Chorus Pace 2 here, and also a better job than the Apple Watch. So let's look at some heart rate data. You can see that the data from the Apple Watch doesn't look really convincing here. It's very flat. I don't think we can even, maybe something happened, maybe it wasn't snug enough on my wrist. So let's remove the Apple Watch. And here we can see in purple the Forerunner 55 versus the Chorus Pace 2 with Garmin HRM Dual. Besides some spikes here, you can see that basically the Garmin Forerunner 55 measured a higher heart rate in some cases. Here, by the way, I had some intervals. In those two intervals, the Forerunner 55 had difficulties in recognizing them. Here I got a heart rate of 171 and it didn't really catch up. And only in the third interval, it was a bit comparable. And also in the fourth or the fifth one, the average is almost the same. The high is comparable and the low is also comparable. You can see that like in general, you got a pretty good idea of your heart rate in running, but during intervals it didn't really succeeded in catching up. Let's look at some outdoor cycling. We have the Garmin Forerunner 55 in orange and the Garmin Edge 530 in blue. So the reason that you can't really see the orange line, that they are perfectly aligned. Okay, if I'll just zoom in, you might see the orange line somewhere. So it was about 70 kilometers ride, and you can see, you can't really tell the difference between the two. I just suspect that the Garmin Edge and the 455 has the same GPS chipset, which is a good thing, because usually I can get a really good GPS signal from the Garmin Edge. So no difference here, and you can tell that it did a really good job. Let's look at the heart rate. You can see here there are some spikes that the 455 measured 184 and I was in 151, and here it didn't catch up. Probably here I started the climb. So here in the beginning of the climb, the Garmin 455 couldn't really catch up, but after that you can see that it is almost perfectly aligned. Lastly, I did some running tests with 4 devices. Let's look at the GPS signal. We have the Apple Watch with the Stride FootPod, the Polar Verity Sense, it doesn't have a GPS, so you won't see it in this map, and the Chorus Space 2 with Garmin HRM Dual, and the 455. So if we look at the map, I think the worst one is the Apple Watch. You can see here in orange, it misses the main road because I was running on the road. And also here you can see that the Apple Watch is a bit wandering around. It was hard to run with 3 watches. So the Chorus Space 2 and the 455 produced very good results, and the Apple Watch was a bit off. By the way, if you look at the distance, we can see that the Chorus Space 2 and the Garmin 455 measured 7.93 kilometers, and the Apple Watch measured a bit higher, and this is correct because the distance comes from the Stride FootPod. So it did miss about 100 meters. Okay, let's look at the heart rate data. Okay, so we have 4 devices here, and let's look at the spikes. Here there is one spike. The 455 measured a higher heart rate than all of the other devices. You can see that the Polar Verity Sense and the Garmin HRM Dual measured the same heart rate in this peak. Also here, the Garmin 455 tended to go a bit higher when I probably did some intervals, so all of the tested devices could catch up beside the 455. And here also the spike is only produced by the 55, and also here. In general, you can see that it did a decent job, just it measured a bit higher when it shouldn't have, and a bit lower when it should have, here in those intervals. So Garmin have succeeded to squeeze into their cheapest running model quite a punch. Even though there are more bang for your buck watches out there like the Chorus Space 2, for this price point, I think that the 455 is a great running watch. It offers very good GPS signal, great HR accuracy, many sport profiles, suggested workout, Garmin coach, external sensors, support, and more. The main disadvantages is the lack of barometric altimeter and gyroscope, the inability to create swimming workouts, the lack of strength training profile, and no triathlon profile. If you look at the list of disadvantages here, you will notice that all of those can be found in the Chorus Space 2. I'll summarize by saying that if you want a great and good quality watch, an entry point to the Garmin ecosystem, and a good companion in your running journey, the 455 is a good and a viable option to consider. I've spent the past 2 weeks with it, and surely it has a warm place in my heart, especially the color. Look how pretty it is. That's all for today. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget to train hard and bye.